Well, it's called the most wonderful time of the year, but there can be a lot of stress and conflict during this time of year, too. And with me today, Phil Atkins with Mental Health and Recovery Services to talk a little bit about that. And thanks for coming, Phil.
Thank you very much.
I think the first thing is you might feel a little weird and abnormal if you do have this stress and, fear of being with your family and things like that. But I suppose that's kind of normal that people deal with it.
It's kind of the American way that holidays are a time to get together and kind of everyone brings a casserole and an unresolved issue that they want to talk about. So it can be very stressful. We've seen earlier in the broadcast, Charles Lehman, going through some really nice remembrances, but sometimes family relationships are really tough. So you read all of these things, in magazines and on the internet on how to make holidays less stressful, of, make your own gifts. And, usually that means you're up the night before with a glue gun trying to get things done and more stress, or, set spending limits, which is everyone has to do. Everyone needs to stick with their budget. But I find that the thing that really makes or breaks the holidays are those relationships, because they're about people. They're not about the gifts. It's not about the food. It's not about all those things. It's about the relationships. So if the relationships are strained, that can make a tough holiday.
All right, so what do we do about it? Just say, hey, we're not going to talk about any of these things. We're going to get through it. Do you talk about it at Christmas? What do you do?
Well, my grandfather used to say that people behave the worst at places they love the most, home and church. And so, I think you have to expect people not to change their typical mode of operation. If you've got that mother-in-law that's always critical, it's unrealistic to say, okay, she's going to suspend this for, 24 hours so we can have Christmas together. What I would like to do is think about positive aspects about those people and kind of plan emotionally beforehand. And it's not necessarily things that you like or admire, but just what are some of those positive aspects, and keep those in your mind so that when that person does, comment on the dry turkey or, kind of grimace when they open their gift, you can kind of say, okay, well, that's them, and there are positive things about them too. And after all, it's only one day. And there's nothing wrong with faking it. One of the things we teach our kids is get along with people. And, making nice is what the holidays are about.
Mm-hmm. What about stress levels and people, eating too much maybe, or trying to compensate in other ways? I mean, is this the time of year when we, exercise more or something?
You can take care of yourself more, and I think pre-planning is a really good thing. Overeating and stress eating, typical of the holidays. It's kind of the American way to show love with food. And then if you have that added stress of family relationships and there's the pecan pie there, maybe set some boundaries for yourself and know that you're in charge. You're in charge of your own behavior. And, if you can set a behavioral boundary or create kind of an emotional fence around that pie or around that behavior, you may fare a little better.
And if it does seem like it's just really getting out of control, there is help. If you feel like you can't do it yourself, there's help out there.
Absolutely. People can call our Hope line, 800-567-HOPE, any time of the day or night, and that includes 2 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. So they can call, they can talk to someone, and there's nothing wrong with taking a little bit of a break. If you need to step out for a minute, even though, not a lot of stores are open, but if you need to, take a walk or go sit in your car and listen to some Christmas music, for 20 minutes, take a break, if things get too intense.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of know yourself and be able to manage it.
That's right. Set your own limits and be realistic about yourself. And don't expect people to behave differently than they behave the other 364 days of the year.
I guess some good advice. Yeah, we can't change things overnight.
No, absolutely not.
All right, very good, Phil. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And don't go away. Medical news is next on Noon Edition.